Our oceans face so many pressures, and not just our ocean, our planet in general. And this fact gets thrown around a lot that by 2050 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. And this is such a hard reality for me to sit with.
Plastics are making their way from land to the ocean, being carried by water. So this is rainwater, stormwater, snow melt, all over the globe. When we're in classrooms and we're trying to define for young people what a watershed is, we like to ask them to imagine a bowl and imagine it raining into that bowl. Each of those water drops is going to slide down the bowl to the lowest point. So the whole planet is covered in watersheds, all of these different bowls, and they're all delineated by high points like mountains and hills, and any water that drops upon them is going to make its way through the ground or the streets or over land into the rivers, which then are going to drain into lower and lower bowls until they ultimately reach the ocean.
So one of the good things about plastic, one of the things we value, is its durability. But when plastic ends up in the water, it can be subject to the ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun, and coupled with wave action, it can begin to become brittle and break up into smaller and smaller pieces. The smallest of which we call microplastics or nanoplastics. These microplastics can be ingested by just about anything. In cases where toxins released from microplastics are stored in fats, toxins can remain within zooplankton or some of the larger organisms that ingest them. So when we're speaking about ecosystems, we refer to these as trophic levels. These are the levels of organisms that ingest one another. As we get higher into these trophic levels, some of these toxins that are derived from plastics can begin to accumulate in larger organisms and potentially end up in humans.
Another really great thing that we can all do is think about the top offenders for the Trash Formers pickup list this summer. Their number one item that they picked up was plastic bags. They picked up 11,700 plastic bags around the CBRM. Their second offender was coffee cups. So they picked up almost 9,900 coffee cups.
We mostly were finding plastics, but more in the sense of fishing gear. We found lots of rope, nylon rope. We found parts of traps, we found whole traps. Now we weren't able to carry many whole traps back because of the parameters, the physical parameters of our particular survey.
Humans remove a very large volume of fish from the water due to their fishing activity, and in cases where derelict gear is left in the water, this can also contribute to ocean plastics.
There's a distinction between ghost gear and derelict fishing gear. So when gear becomes lost, abandoned, or discarded into the environment, it either will keep fishing indiscriminately on commercially valuable species. So in the case of lobster traps, it could be groundfish and lobsters. And then there's derelict fishing gear, which could be rope or just a piece of a trap that isn't really catching anything, but is simply contributing to marine debris. And it may still, rope in some cases may entangle whales.
It's really difficult to know for sure, but estimates made by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations in 2009 suggested that the number was about 10% of all marine debris, which at the time added up to about 640,000 tons of lost gear every year in the world's oceans. However, recent studies have suggested that between 46 and 70% of all macroplastic floating in the ocean, when measured by weight, is fishing related.
The fishing industry knows about this and is looking towards solving it.
If the gear is in good shape and it's identifiable, it's really up to the fisherman to retrieve his gear. If the gear comes ashore and it's all broken up and it can't be identified, then it's just like all other washed up junk, litter, and
Here at Victoria Beach today. Quite a few traps along the shoreline. Trying to get as much as we can out of the water and off the shore. We've got quite a few already, over 100 traps.
So we're here in Falls Bay, and